Good morning, friends. Or, again, good day. I guess just because I'm making this in the morning doesn't mean it's morning for you. Doesn't mean it's morning for me as I re-listen to these later. And wow, I do re-listen to these later, and I'm always shocked by some of the wisdom that comes through. Some of that stuff is definitely coming from the source directly inside of me and not from my mind. It has not been mentally constructed. Okay, let's see. Oh, I was just introducing my little dog Daisy, but then I got distracted by a big flock of birds outside. But this is Daisy, or as she prefers to be called, Princess Daisy. You're a princess. I know. One day we were, I think, in the car, and I was like, Daisy, Daisy. And then I said, oh, you're a little princess, huh? And she like did a shake, and then she like twirled in some circles and sat down and was like, thank you for finally figuring it out. She is used to like people asking, I like from a princess standpoint, okay? She's used to people asking permission before they like touch her and groom her and get too close to her. And I swear someone used to test her food for poison, because like she doesn't want to eat anything unless you've tried it first. And I hand make her food. Like she eats meat and veggies and stuff like that, you know, real good, real delicious stuff. And then once she gets a bite of it in her mouth, she'll eat the whole plate. But like, she's very hesitant before that first bite. I'm like, I swear, princess in a past life. So Princess Daisy, pretty princess, huh? Thank you for sharing in this space with me. I don't know if I've said it before, but I know I've thought it. Like when two or more are gathered in this place, that makes a church of sorts, right? And when two or more of us gather in these online spaces, we automatically create safe, sacred spaces for our source to flow through and for us to come to as a source of light and love. So welcome to this little source of light and love that I'm trying to cultivate in my life. Okay, the dark magic is actually the one that's calling out so far. Let's see where this takes us. Familiar. Bond with your spirit animal. Not exactly what I... It's not planned. It's not planned, huh? Bond with your spirit animal. And maybe you don't know what that is, and that's okay, right? I always seem to have a little small dog around. Got a small dog when I was in 3rd grade. And then in college, I had a teeny tiny dog for a little bit. And then Chihuahuas, a Chiweenie, and now this little doodle bug. They've always been small for me, right? I've always liked to have something that I can easily take with me everywhere. I like to say I'm her no, I'm her service animal. But really, me and her both, we have some separation anxiety. Bond with that spirit animal. I'm going to read from the book on this one. Familiar. We're familiar with each other. I was even watching a video just the other day about connecting with your spirit animal, being able to telepathically communicate with other animals and stuff. Okay, it's number 8, by the way. When familiar is drawn, this card, it's an opportunity to partner with a new animal companion or enhance the relationship with your current one. It can also be an opportunity to explore aspects of your identity and personality by meditating on how different animals resonate with you. There's a wonderful saying, be the person your dog thinks you are. Familiar says it's time for your animal companion to bring out the best in you, or to be awake to the message your spirit animals have for you. Witches have long been associated with magical animal companions, which would assist in their spell casting and ritual work. If you have a significant animal companion in your life, you know they are more than a pet by their affinity for ritual. They sit quietly by you when you meditate and appear in your dreams with messages for you. When you are sad or feel challenged, they offer you healing energy. You can feel it. Sometimes your familiar may be another person's pet, or sometimes even a wild animal or a bird, one that comes to you and you feel a powerful connection with it. Notice how the person in the image offers their shoulder to the wild bird. Often we think of animals in terms of what they give us, but what do you offer your significant animal other? What is your role in their life? Ponder this and see what messages come through you. How can you evolve and grow, guided by what you bring to your animal companion's life? If you're not with an animal in the physical realm, then meditate on your spirit animal. Create that bond in the psychic realm, considering the messages and indicated actions that present to you. Daisy, pretty, pretty princess. Daisy, you're my little girl. Love, love, you're a pretty puppy. Doodlebug, you're the one for me. Do you want to pick a card? She's been sleepy all morning. She woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning and was like, I gotta go potty. And I was like, the winds are like 20 miles an hour and it's freezing. You want to pick one? Okay, she picked this one. Her little nose bopped this one. Greening, you are a natural, right? You are naturally able to connect with animals. You are naturally able to connect with the natural world around you. You know, don't forget grounding, getting into contact with nature, get your hands in the dirt. You know, I actually think that there's like some chemicals in the dirt or something like that, that just by like digging around and playing in the dirt is supposed to help heal us. It like sends chemical signals through our body that like we're safe and this is good. You are natural. And with all that nature that's coming out of you, if your spirit animals or birds or bugs or reptiles and stuff, they can just all come and like live on this tree that is you. Okay, so we got here some spirit animal connections. Let me see. What's calling out? Divine Masters. So I tried taking this art class a few years ago, or like taking some art classes, and it didn't last very long. I was at a very interesting moment in my life. But the teacher, his spirit animal was orcas, killer whales. And he had some interesting stories about them like coming to him both in person during times of year and in places where they probably shouldn't have been, in dreams, but also just, I mean, he had so many paintings of them that you could tell it was just flowing through. Oop. Okay. All right. Connecting with our spirit animal and why. I'm sorry, like 30 seconds before I clicked record, I sneezed a bunch of times. Again, the temperature has been, yesterday we were in the 70s, right now we're in the 40s, Fahrenheit. It's crazy, yeah, a 30-degree drop overnight. Anyways, connecting to our spirit animals also, it's nice to get another perspective on things, right? To see things from their point of view. They live so much more in the moment than we do. They don't hold on to the timeline that we hold on to. They're like, sure, it happened, but like, we're here now, right? Focus on the right here, right now. And if you're able to connect to like certain insect groups and stuff like that, maybe birds, you get a greater understanding, a better grasp of like hive mind mentality and that connection. One day I walked through I don't know, there's like a swarm of little bugs or something like that, and I saw this swarm of bugs and I was like, oh, that swarm of bugs is like a whole entity just in itself, right? It's not each individual bugs, it is the collection of them. Sorry. And which like triggered, you know, a thing from Futurama for me, where if you haven't seen Futurama, there's a character Amy and a character Kif, right? And Amy is human, she's Martian, right? She's from Mars, but she's kind of like a human. And then Kif is this like green alien creature, and they go to get married. And her parents are like, the stupid bugs, and like smacks a bug that's by his face. The dad smacks a bug that's by his face, and she said, Dad, like, that's the final form in Kif's species. That's his parents, you know? And like, her dad had just killed a bunch of like tiny pieces of the other dad. And just to look at everything like that, you know, trees have a spirit, animals have a spirit, clouds, the water, everything has a spirit about it. It all breathes, it's all living. It changes and transforms, and we get to, through the magic within, we get to like imbue these things with our energy. And also like we take our energy from them, but to be aware of that exchange between us and the natural world, helps you to have a greater perspective and a greater understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. Okay, and with that, who is trying to come out of this deck? The Atlanteans. Ooh, evolution, vibration, legacy, technology, progress, and expect acceleration. Technology is not just tools, right? It's not just having something here in the physical world. Technology can come through DNA upgrades. Technology can come through downloads that we receive that completely like changes the entire mechanics of our inner being. And connecting with animals, connecting with nature, grounding ourselves allows that a greater grounds, fertile grounds, fertile grounds, right? The more that we are open and willing to connect with all that is around us, to connect to the animals so that we can hear and feel what their needs and wants are, to get a grasp of their perspective, to connect to the trees and get an understanding of what it is that they are here to help us with and how we can help them. We are in constant relation with everything around us, and the Atlanteans knew that. They were aware of the interconnectedness between all of things. They were aware of the ability that they had to, I don't want to say control or manipulate, but to form and mold things in the ways that best benefited them. Well, why don't we just read from the book? Is it in the T's? Is it with V? Why would you do that? Okay, no. It was one page away from where my finger was at the beginning. Okay, legend has it that Atlantis was an advanced civilization that existed thousands of years ago in the center of the Atlantic Ocean. Its people were highly evolved and had many spiritual gifts. They were telepathic, psychic, and known for their ability to combine the laws of science and nature with spirituality to develop technology and create heaven on earth. But somewhere along the way, many of them stopped respecting their gifts and spiritual connection. This caused a great cataclysm that brought their civilization to an end. The Atlanteans of this card are those who continued to live with spiritual integrity and awareness. When Atlantis came to an end, many of these beings ascended beyond the physical dimension and now act as a congregation of evolved souls who, like angels, work with those who are following the spiritual path and want to leave a legacy of light. They were telepathic, psychic, and known for their ability to combine the laws of science and nature with spirituality to develop technology and create heaven on earth. We're definitely here for that. Your message. You are a future thinker who will leave a legacy of healing and light. Think beyond boundaries and keep your future and the future of your close ones in mind when it comes to making a decision. Atlantean energy is here to help you align your pathway with one that supports the evolution of your soul and your family lineage. This is a time of transcending old ways of being and old patterns, so it might not always be easy to navigate, but it will be worth it in the long run. Ideas, creativity, and new technological concepts are all around you now. When it comes to forging new pathways, think of the future. Cut out any long-winded approaches and streamline everything you are doing. This is a time of evolution, and so there's a good chance of resistance from old energies and the ego. If you feel challenged or encounter growing pains, know that you are on the right track. Persevere. Persevere. And Mayet, divine intervention. Weigh your options and choose the highest good. Always. Always. There is such a split that happens within yourself. When you decide to start living from the heart and start literally weighing those options, every single choice that you make, and saying, okay, this choice that I make right now, how will that impact everything, everyone, everywhere, the entire planet, the entire everything? You start asking those questions, you start realizing how big of an impact you actually can have. And nature needs us. Nature needs us to weigh those options from the heart so that we can get back in alignment with her, with Gaia. And Paul the Venetian, gifted one, revealing hidden talents and opportunities to shine. So you've literally already got the gifts, the talents, the skills, the requirements, the prerequisites that you need in order to step forward and make a difference. You've got the gift to connect with animals. You've got the gift to connect with plants, with nature. You've already got that. And now it's just a matter of like accepting it and stepping forward, opening your heart up to let your gifts shine out, let your gifts flow through. All right, this is getting a little long and a little long-winded. One more. Angel Tarot, interestingly enough. Okay, this is turning into an unusual reading. I feel like it's got to do a lot with connecting to nature. All right, one more closing message. Okay, you want to help? You want to pick the closing message? Yeah? Here. What's up? Pick one. You don't want to pick one? Come on, pick a card. Get involved with Julissa. This one? Okay, well, both of these. Justice, the angel of integrity, finding balance. Literally, back to this balance, this Mayat energy. Weighing things and choosing the highest good. Right? In the end, there will be justice. In the end, there will be balance. Like, everything is going to... It's like the infinity symbol. Everything is going to, like, come back in on itself. And it will equilibrize. Right? Is that the word? It will come back into balance. And integrity is going to help you choose which way to go. You got to do things with integrity. And then the Four of Pentacles, which says control, but I'm not seeing it as control. I'm seeing it as the stable foundations that are going to come from choosing things from the highest good, from taking your gifts and then putting them into the physical world, right? Like, taking the internal wisdom that you have and combining them with the technology that we have out here in the external world and just putting all of those things together. And do it in communication with the animals, in communication with the trees and the plants and nature and everything that's around us, with the water, with the air, with the sunlight. Do it in connection with all of those, and we are here to create the stable foundation for this new world to be birthed on. And I think this is just going to keep going and going and going, and that's not... $20-hour-long videos of me pulling cards. Not gonna go over well. Okay. Thanks for joining me for this kind of rocky message. Maybe the Rocky Mountains are important because that just came to my head. Getting back into nature, getting back connected with stuff like that. But just take some time to figure out which animals really call out to you, really connect to you. There's this one time I was staying at someone's house. Well, I was house sitting, pet sitting for them for the week, and it's one of my favorite houses, most peaceful, comfortable places I've ever stayed in. I love the energy there, and I've pretty much been in a state of meditation for the week. I wasn't listening to music or watching videos or watching movies. It was just like bird noises, and I actually heard the Tao Te Ching for the first time that week, which was perfect. It was everything that I could have ever hoped to get across to someone. Listen to the Tao Te Ching by narrated, read by Wayne Dyer on YouTube. Too many commercials nowadays for my preference in that version, but still, it still is just wonderful, and his voice is wonderful. Anyways, I was at this house, and I was like sitting on the couch staring at a blank TV, turned off with nothing on it, and the cat jumped on my lap, and I started seeing hellish scenes on the blank screen of the TV, and I looked down at the cat, and I liked him. He was a cool cat, and I said, oh, he's a one-eyed cat too, named Angus. I call him Angus. Anyways, I was like, oh, I get it, dude. Like, you evil, you're cute, you're cuddly, and I like you, but like, I see where, your source comes from, like somewhere dark and scary and twisted. And then he jumped off my lap, and all the scary dark images stopped. Yeah, that was definitely an interesting animal connection that I had. And another time, whenever I was like young, my dog talked to me, right, in elementary, and I was like sitting there having a conversation with my dog, and then I fully became aware of mentally aware of the fact that I was having an actual conversation with my dog, and I freaked out, and I don't think we ever actually talked again, which is bummy. It would have been really nice to like grow that connection. And now with this little adorable spirit animal of mine over here, I forget that she can't hear me in my head. She loves whenever I talk out loud to her, and like me and her don't have that strong telepathic connection, probably because I haven't worked to like strengthen it with her. But I kind of just like expect her to hear my thoughts all the time, and I'm getting better about learning that I'm gonna have to work harder in order to increase again the strength of that bond if I want for our telepathic communications to be stronger. Okay, now I'm babbling about myself and my life, and connect with animals, connect with plants, connect with nature. Allow your gifts to flow through so that they can benefit the whole. Weigh your options and choose the highest good. We've got the technology. You've got so many of the answers just inside your DNA, and it's just about awakening ourselves up to that from the inside out. Okay, I'm gonna leave this there. Thank you.